Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are going to make smoke trails. As you have seen my video which I have uploaded 2 days ago, that is a very simple effect. You can make it. It uses pyro solver and some basic techniques, and to grow the forest or to make a forest you need just a couple of models like tree and grass and some terrain, and you can distribute over any plane or any terrain, then you can make the scene. So let's just get started. So for this, let's start with the forest ground. So let me just make the geometry node. Okay, and just name this ground. Make sure you name this properly because it will help you to organize the files and other things. So let me just take a grid node. Sorry. And make it large enough so that your forest contains all the basic elements. Let me just make ground, and let me just I want to make long forest because in my scenario my this energy or the source is coming from behind the cam and going in front of it, spiraling along, and then falls to the ground, and then it merges other things. So let me just make this around 30. I think 30 is enough, and let me just make around 80, and or maybe 40 by 80, and that's enough. And just give it some segments, and now again you can use, I think 160 will be give you uniform. No, I think this is 40 and this is 80. Yes. Okay, now just add mountain node so that gives you some rough terrain, something like this. And you can always adjust its height however you want. If you want like something like this, like much more prominent, or something, make something like half rough. Okay, next we need to make a path, or like make like a path so that the trees are along that path. So for this, let me just paint couple of attributes. Let me just put color node. Just color node, and just make this color black. Okay, now it's have nothing here. Now we will paint this according to however you want. So let me just use paint node. In new Houdini they have changed this to paint node. Otherwise, in old Houdini it is brush node. So depending upon whichever you are using, you can choose the nodes. And in here it is attribute paint, and it is selected to mask. So we are going to change this to color. So please change here attribute from mask to color. See, that is CD color float. And let me just paint this. Or if you're not seeing your brush, like in my case it's not showing, you can select this tool. It will show you the brush. See, this is the brush, and size and other things are here like this. Or you can use from here. See, now you can see the brush size. And for color, just go here, you can choose color also, whichever color you want to paint. So here let me just paint color, and just show the color. here. Just make brush a little bigger so that see. Now you can paint. See, you can paint this color however you want. However you want to make. Say, you want rough, you can paint like rough this, and something like this. It's totally up to you. However you want to make the path. If you want like curve like path, you paint like that. And just paint like some rough colors like this. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can always change this. See, I'm like something like this. Okay, now it has painted the attribute. Okay, now next we are going to use scatter node so that you can control its. See, now it is scattering this here, and just use by color attribute, which is CD. Just delete this one. See, like this, and it is now having like 1000 points. Just lower this to 100. Okay, so this is our source for tree attributes. Just use null object just here, and just put here out attribute. For tree, let me just use my file node so that I can call my tree. Okay, so these trees are free trees. I have downloaded from internet. You can find a lot of different sites to find these trees, or I can upload this in my website. You can download from there also. These are the some objects. So let me just go for long tree. Okay, this is the tree. It's quite big, and we just use transform node. Transform, and just rotate this to 90. Okay, and just okay, this is enough, and just use copy to point node or copy to stamp node, whichever you want. Both are same. So here this and this will be here. Okay, now you can see showing the trees. Okay, so just use merge node so that you can see both of them. Okay, now you can see it is using these trees as a copying. You can see these are like quite dense, and if you want like lower this value, you can always lower this. I think 100 is more than enough. Just lower this. I think this is good enough, and it's transferring the color. If you don't want to transfer the color, you can always choose here. It is mapping everything, so if you don't want to use, you can always uncheck this so it will not transfer the color, or either you can delete that attribute from here. If you look here, it has like CD attribute. It will transfer that. Okay, so let's uncheck this one. Okay, now we have this forest, and these trees are like uniform trees. If you want like this variation in the size and scale, you can add here another attribute, which is like attribute noise. This one, it will add noise. Okay, so for the size of this, you need to define which attribute to be noise. So in here, this is CD we are not using, we are going to use scale attribute. Okay, now you can see it has like small and bigger attributes. Or if you want like only one attribute, you can always choose this to like 0.1 and 0.1. See, otherwise you can choose whichever you want. So this will be give you some variations in size, or you can always remap these values. See, here you can define how much this will affect, or it is other settings. So depending upon how you want to this, so 0.6, and I think don't do too much, otherwise it will not look good. So I think 0.1 is enough. Sorry. And I think 0.9 is enough. Okay, so this is enough. I think you can see it is using variations. Or if you want to like give variation in the orientation, like they are straight, if you want like variable in directions, you can always use another attribute noise in the normal attributes. It will give you normal directions variation. Okay, I think this is enough, and you can always choose this one, or you can use offset, whichever you like. And if you want more control, you can use here these iterations. It will give you much harsh look, or however you want. If you're not happy with the look, you can change this. Whichever type you want. Okay, this is your first tree. Same, you can go for the second tree. And for the grass, I'm using texture, otherwise it will be very heavy for the system to render out or to handle on the viewport. So try to use as simple as possible. So let me just copy the nodes which I have used for my grass. It's simple setup. I'm using a grid. Then if you look here, I'm using simple grid, some UV texture, copy, and same it is using for this attribute noise. Okay, so I'm just copying these nodes. So this is the same process which I have used here. So just paste. Okay. See, this is here, and paste. Merge this to here. Now you can see it has like these grass. So it is also using same things. Like again for the grass, we want more grass, so we are using more counts, and in scale I'm using this variations, how bigger or smaller we want. And in material, which is for that transparent material which we are going to make, because in here I think it doesn't make the material, so we are going to make that material, and everything is same. Okay, after that we need some another tree, or in my case I used a center tree to block this path. So you can also do that by using the tree which I have used. So please call the other tree, which is if I go here, I think this one is the tree. Okay, if I use here, you can see it will be somewhere just here. Sorry. This is the tree. So in comparison to these, this is very small. So let me scale down this tree a little bit further. They are quite big. Don't want that big tree. Okay, I think this is enough. And in this tree, this one, we are going to use again transform node. And it needs to go for 5, I think. Okay. And if it's moving like this, you can use move to center. It will make tree in the center. I think 5 is more. Let's use for 4, I think. Okay, 4 is okay. So it needs to go for 4 is still, I think, too big. Or maybe 3. Okay, these look good. So just put it on the almost on the ground, not too exactly, because in my case I am using like somewhere here or wherever you want. Something like this, because my camera is like this and it's like moving in this camera. Okay, so this is our basic environment which we are going to use. Let's save the file. Sorry. Okay, just recall these. When you save this, they lose their path. This long tree, and this one is tree. Okay. Okay, so this is the basic environment here. Okay. Now we need our statue or whatever objects you want to grow in. So we just make another geometry node. We just call this statue. So this one is also very simple. This is the structure, and if I go for this is the statue. Okay, and in comparison to scene, if we look here, it is quite small, so let's just scale this up. This is quite big. I think we don't want that much big. Okay, this is, I think, enough size, and let's rotate this in this direction. Okay. This one, and just here, put somewhere here, and do not put on the our statue, and if you put here, and if it's coming black, you can use normal node, because sometimes their normals are not properly baked, so that if you go, you can bake the normals. Or sometimes they have like attributes here, need to clean that attributes. Yes, 20 points, so it will add normals. Okay, so we have this statue also. Next we need to make the smoke source, or how the smoke is coming. So in my scenario, if you look here, I have this path and smoke. I enable my source. look here, this is my smoke source, and for this trail path I am using this energy source, which is this one. If you look here, I have made this simple curve, which is this one. This is following this path, so it's very simple thing to make. Just make a path however you want to do, and then make another smoke or sphere object and connect these two paths. Okay, so let me just copy this path because it will be easy, otherwise it will take time for me to make this here. So let's make another geometry node. Path, and just here. Okay, now you can see it has this path, and we need to just transform this because I am looking at this, and I think 5 is 4 is enough. Okay, this is okay, and you can always choose wherever you want. I am using like this. It will fall here and then this start connecting. Okay, now we need this objects to connect this path, so just off this. Just use another geometry node, which is your source node for the smoke. Sphere. Okay, this is our sphere, and you just use polygon. You can use 4, not too big. Okay, so this is our smoke source, and this is our trail. Now we need to connect this, so go to this source, and in here you can see this has this constrained attributes. Enable this, and in here you can find some attributes. Just select this follow path attribute, select, and it will ask for the path object. Just select this one and press. Now select path object, which is our this one, and press enter. If you want to look this to any direction, then you use select, otherwise press enter. Okay. Now you can see it has. Okay, I think something wrong happens. Just do one more time. I'll just use this. It doesn't matter. Okay. Select. Follow path. Just now select path object, which is this one. Okay. Now you can see it will go like this, and this. This is the key. If you want to check or how is the key, just click shift. Click on this. You will see the values for the key. You can adjust this however you want. We are not going to do. I think this is same. So our source is connected. Path we don't need to show. This is we don't need to show. We can show, and select this, and now select for the source of smoke. So either you can use pyro smoke, these tools, or you can use parse, whichever you want. I think in my case I have used this bellowy smoke. This one gives me like this. Just select anywhere you want. Okay, it will make everything. So see, it made everything. To use our source, which is this our sphere, we need to change this one, this smoke source. Okay, come here, you can see this is smoke base. This one, let's delete this one, use object merge, connect this one, and in object merge select that object which is vMedia, which is this one. Okay, now I think this is our smoke object. Okay, so now it is using this object, and source we have like this everything, and I think okay, so we'll just check if it's moving properly or not. Just okay, I think our source is here, it's not moving. So if I go for here, always check for the source. Okay, it's not moving, so I think we need some okay, this is constraint. I think we need to put this object. Okay, object mode, select just this one and to this. Let me see. Okay, now it's moving. Okay, now you can see it's coming from that direction. Okay, so we need to just do this into this object, otherwise it will not like that. Okay, now you can see it is smoke is coming from that direction. Now we need to adjust our settings. You can adjust this, or if you want like another attributes which is velocity, you can add velocity also, or this doesn't have velocity. So I think we come here, this one, and we like more disturbed, so we need to use some attributes here. We just go for 0.5. I think dissipation go for 1, or maybe you can go for 5 also. Use disturbance and all that. Okay, so pulse length, I think 0.2 is enough. Okay, now let's check. Okay, it's doing something. So it's not as quite as intense as we wanted. So we can do is we can increase this turbulence more than once, and just I think decrease this value. So you will add some disturbance, and in simulation, just if you want more substeps, you can add more substeps. And it is like if you want more disturbance, you can do like make things more chaotic. It's up to you, however you want, but more violent you can adjust these values, or you can add further here. You can use pop forces and other gas attributes, they all work here. And if I add this in my scenario, I have added in here some gas dissipate attribute, sorry, disturbance attribute, this one. In the last section, and I used rotational and I used very strong force, so it will like add some forces, so I have some disturbance in here. Okay, so this will be our this attribute, which is going to we're going to simulate this, and it will give you all the trail settings. In my scenario, this is like trail settings. So see, I have used the same gas tester, same values, and I have also changed some values here also in my scenario. I will put this value in my I will put this file in my site. You can always check this out also. Then just make for these statue filling with smoke simulation. So for this we are going to use another smoke source, and we need to make solvers for that. So let me just go for okay, just so this will give you like, we will hide this so that it will only show the smoke. Okay, and in here we have like further settings. You can always increase or decrease this attribute, color and all that. This is post process for these. It's up to you, however you want. Then let's go for this smoke filling this geometry. So this will be simple also. Just need to create another source for these. Let's go for geometry. This is for our source for statue. Okay, I'll just use sphere. Okay, and this is here, so polygon, and just put this here. It's like not that difficult task. This is a simple thing. Just you can just lower this up like this. Okay, just put here so that it's filled here, and you can create this. Okay, now we need to make another source for this, and for this I am using this bellowy smoke here. This one, this is also same, but it will give you much more control over this. So you can use that sparse also. It's up to you, or either you can make everything by yourself. So let me use for pyro and use for below smoke. Select this and press enter. Okay. Sorry. So now you can see it will make this container box. So just make container of this size, and pyro, and we don't really want any much bigger than that. Just this will be enough. Okay, and just go for 0.5. Okay, always save your file, because we are doing very heavy file, lot of changes, so it may be crash. So just go for, don't go for too much, just go so it will take time. How the more you increase these values, the more time it will take. Okay, if you simulate like this, the smoke will come out and like flow everywhere. Okay, what we want to smoke to come inside of this geometry. So for this we need to make this geometry as a collision geometry, so that it can contain this. So for this, let me just go for in the statue attribute. Okay, here now let's make this collision geometry. Just use collision node, it will make everything for you. So just come here. Okay, so we need to do this, and for volume fill interior, and let me just go for 02. Okay, now just use null object so that we can see this will be our geometry. See, this is our geometry, and sorry. Null object. Okay, this is our VDB geo. Okay, this will be our volume geometry. Okay, now you can see it is almost containing every detail, so we need to let's increase its values a little bit so that smoke can enter here. So you can use VDB reshape this node. Okay, now we can like if you come here and we can like increase its size, like, or you can decrease. If you want to decrease this, just use erode node. It will erode this, so let me just go for direct, and I think 1 or 2 is enough, just don't make too much. Okay, so we have our collisions. So yeah, come here and come to this over this simulation. Just use static solver and just use static object. Okay. In here let's just do, and always remember static solvers comes first, so otherwise it won't work. In static object, select SOP path, which is geometry, so select here and go to the statue geometry collision, and in here volume, go to this proxy volume, select that VDB geometry. Okay, and just go to volume sample, and by size, which is I think 0.02 we have used. Okay, let's just check again. So Control S, let's see this. You can always uncheck the display, this one, so that it won't show here. Now you can see it's going, but it's going everywhere because the source geometry is quite big, so it's coming like everywhere. So come here, let me just adjust this so that it's only in the bottom direction and not going everywhere, and just so I think this will be okay, this will be enough, I think. Okay. now it's going. Okay, next we need to like invert these signs, because right now it's using like this as a collision geometry. We want like outside to be solid and inside to be hollow, so just invert the signs so it will reverse this geometry. Now the smoke will try to come inside of this. See, now it's coming inside of this geometry, and if we want to see properly we can just hide this. Okay, now you can see it's not going everywhere, it's going in the geometry direction. See, see, now it's going. So its resolution is still quite low. When you simulate for high resolution, just increase the resolution of this so it will look much more proper. Okay, see, it's almost making the shape of this geometry. If I increase the resolution of this smoke, see, I am using quite higher values, and now if I simulate this, now you can see it's simulating these smokes. See, now it's coming much more prominent. Okay. Sorry. So it will like coming. So now you can use this as a smoke, and if we just remove everything like ground and all that, everything, and over this, not this one. Do not move this. Okay, here. Now you can light up the scene and everything, make the textures and everything. Okay, I use V-Ray render. Okay, otherwise you can use any mantra or anything, just use V-Ray. Okay, if I go to render settings and just go for my graphic card, it will be much more faster. And do not save. Everything is default, just changing these settings. Okay, now I'm going to make a camera. Just lock this. This is enough. I think if we use 60 or 70 mm lens, it will give you much better look. Okay, like this. Give it a couple of seconds, it will load the scenes. Okay, now you can see it's coming like this because it doesn't have any shader, light or everything. So what you can do, you can make light. In my case I used V-Ray, this rectangle light. Okay, this one. This is the light I have made. Okay, now, and this I made like quite big, like this, and just one spotlight I have used. This is Something like this, and it is invisible, by the way, so I don't show yet, and it's quite high, and I use little bit of directional functionality so that it will only focus on this area. Okay, so depending upon how you want, you can always choose your lighting scenarios. I use something like this, and for tree and everything I have used textures and all materials. Okay, so I think that you can use any of your textures and all that. In my case I used V-Ray, so it will be different. So I think this is the just basic of the what I have made. So I will put this file in my website's download link, so you can download this and check this out. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you and goodbye. We will meet in next time.